forgot who I was at 15, but I remember. So I didn't understand how so many teachers and administrators could be so callous, so rigid, so authoritative, and just mean. And I was like, wow, they suck. So the kids loved me, and I knew then, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and get a master's degree in education, and let's get a teaching credential. That way, we can teach high school. Because I learned early in the subbing world that I did not like middle school. The middle school journey was different. Those kids were too young for me. They were way too immature. And the day starts earlier for middle school. And I was like, you know what? I'm too old for these kids. They like me too, though. The kids loved me in junior high too, but I didn't love them back. So I decided to pursue a single subject in English. Since I love writing and I love being creative, English made the most sense. So I started that process and did all the things that I need to do for that. And the plan was go sub and see if you like it enough to continue in that journey. If not, then get a master's degree in English or something. That way you can just go teach on the college level. It's like, okay. So once I discovered that I liked it enough, I said, you know what? We can do this. So I went ahead, got into a program, an accelerated program, and got my master's degree and the preliminary stages of what's called an internship for a credential. And then while I was finishing, or at least thought I was finishing the internship, I took a full-time job teaching at a school in Moreno Valley. While I loved the kids, I didn't love anything else about my experience there. I didn't love how admin treated me during the interview process. But after that, he became like a night and day person. I don't do well with people who are Jekyll and Hyde-esque in their nature. If whoever you are today, I need you to be that same person next Wednesday. Now I give room for everybody to expand in how we see them and how we know who they are. Yes, we're all layered, but not night and day. And I mean, literally, I would walk down the hall and this administrator who hired me would look right at me and wouldn't even speak. I didn't get that. I didn't understand. I was like, this is weird. I also didn't like some of the people in the English department were very cold or distant. Some of them were a little strange, but some were just like, most of the black folk in the English department were very distant towards me. Heck, most of the black folk at the entire school, teacher-wise, were distant. And that just blew my mind. I thought I would get some real camaraderie. You don't see a lot of black folk in education. And I know why. I don't pay enough and you deal with these kids. But I thought I would see more camaraderie than what I did. It was only when someone needed something from me that then they knew my name. So I didn't do well with that. I didn't like that. And during that year, my private business was also doing well. And that year, I made more money with 2 contracts than I made all year teaching. That's a lot. So I said, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. Dealing with IEPs and 504s and SSTs. And for those of you in education, you know what all of that is. And I was just an intern, or so I thought. So again, I'm a storyteller, so I'm giving you the story, and this will help you to know where I'm going. So I, in January of 2024, because I started teaching at that school in 2023. In January of 2024, I got an email from HR informing me that they had not gotten status clarity from my university regarding my internship. Now, for those of you who don't know what an internship in education is great because you get to be an intern and still finish your certificates, your degree, your credential, and all that stuff while working on a full teacher contract. So it's a great way to do it. The other option is student teaching, where you teach for free for about 16 weeks, and then you can get hired with a school. When you have a family and you have bills and you have things to cover, you don't have the luxury of student teaching. Unless unless your partner makes an exuberant amount of money or makes enough money to cover your household so that you can do it. And so we took the opportunity to get a contract. And I was offered two jobs, actually, two different schools. I chose one school over the other because of the distance and the fact that my youngest son, was starting middle school, and I knew I needed to be closer to home to be able to help him navigate with that. Even though I took an $8,000 pay cut to take the other job versus the one I had first been hired for. And meanwhile, my company is still doing its thing. So it's all working out. But the internship, at least with my university, will allow you to work under contract, and then you do these cohort classes during the internship year. And but I didn't know any of that. They never told me that. They just gave me my internship letter and said, "You're internship eligible. Go get a job. And as soon as you get the job, we'll take care of the rest." So I did my part. I gave HR all the paperwork when they hired me, and everything was good. So I thought months. I got hired in the end of August. I took the job on the 1st or 2nd of September. And that school had already been in session for 5 weeks. So the teacher was leaving to take another position. That's a whole other story. So I was just sailing along. When you're an intern, you get a master teacher, someone who's going to walk with you and help you reach your checkpoints and all that kind of thing. So I had a master teacher who was my cross hallway partner. She was a dynamic teacher, a really cool person. Shout out to Viola Rowe. She's cool people. And she helped me to really navigate. Now, I'm a seasoned adult, so I've taught in other forums and other arenas and other industries. So teaching is what I do.